The landscape of Texas is changing. Wide open, wind-whipped plains now have gigantic visitors, wind turbines. Their large blades carve through the air to provide energy.
Texas is now #1 in the country in producing wind energy. Texas is blessed with a wonderful natural resource, and that's the wind.
Steve Stingle works for FPL Energy, the company that operates the world's largest wind farm near Abilene, Texas, the Horse Hollow Wind Energy Center. More than 400 wind turbines sit on 60,000 acres over 2 counties.
From a distance, the turbines may not seem that impressive, but take a look up close and you can see just how huge they are. From the base to the top of the tower, we're talking 260 feet. Add to that 7-ton blades, each one around 125 feet in length. Altogether, you end up with a structure that is around 40 stories tall.
The higher you go up, the better the wind. The longer the blade, the better that blade is to capture the energy that's in the wind. The energy comes down the turbine, goes into a substation, and then out to the transmission system.
So what we're seeing here on the monitor, that is actually happening right now out in the field.
That's correct.
Wind technician Jeff Briscoe monitors the turbines at this central computer bank and, if necessary, makes the long climb up turbine towers to make repairs.
A lot of data is collected every day, every hour, so that we can determine, hey, are these things producing the way they should?
At maximum capacity, Stingle says the Horse Hollow Wind Energy Center can generate 735 megawatts. That's enough power for just under 200,000 average Texas homes. In the entire United States, the American Wind Energy Association reports that so far this year, the electricity generated from wind amounts to around 48 billion kilowatt hours. That's enough to power approximately 4.5 million average American homes, but only a little more than 1% of the U.S. electricity supply.
America's blessed with one of the best wind corridors in the world.
Texas oil and gas billionaire Boone Pickens believes wind should have a much greater role than just 1%, and he's in the middle of a media campaign to explain why.
My wife finally told me to quit talking about it at home and go do it. I'm Boone Pickens. This plan will work.
CBN News sat down with Pickens at the Dallas office of his company BP Capital to discuss his plan that's generating international buzz, a plan that promotes wind.
You have to move forward, and in the predicament we're in, we have to develop the resources that are available to us.
That predicament, he says, is America importing 70% of its oil at a cost of $700 billion a year. Pickens believes increasing the amount of electric power supplied by wind will help America break its addiction to foreign oil. Here's how. The Pickens plan calls for building new wind farms to generate around 22% of our electricity. That would replace the role of natural gas in power generation and allow it to be used more as a transportation fuel. Pickens says using natural gas to run our cars would then reduce our imports of oil by 38%, or $300 billion annually.
If you could get, say, $300 billion a year back to this country, can you imagine how many jobs that would be? Jobs, profits, taxes, economy moves forward, but it's all going out of the country.
To Pickens and his growing number of supporters, wind is vital to keeping it here. He's working to build an even bigger wind farm than the one at Horse Hollow. Plans call for the new world's largest, a 4,000 megawatt farm, to be built near Pampa, Texas in the Panhandle. He says it's not about making more money.
I've got plenty of money. I don't need any money. This is all about America. It's all about the generations in the future, not about me. For energy, I can make it to the finish line, but I'm not sure you can or your kids can.
Even already, just knowing things are coming and that wind energy is the next technology, we're always seeing the excitement and the synergy. People are buying property, they're looking at moving here, moving their businesses here.
There are people who would like to see Pampa never change, but I'm not one of them. I would like to see Pampa grow and encourage people to come here, and if we can provide a cleaner, cheaper energy source, we need to do it.
But wind power is not only produced on large-scale farms. Private home and business owners are investing in what's known as small wind, smaller turbines to power their personal needs.
This small wind turbine powers the greenhouse at a school in Trent, Texas.
We are right in the middle of a wind path.
Science teacher Leanna West, who also serves as the mayor of Trent, is behind this lesson in wind energy.
I wanted to provide a system that the kids could learn about, but also take with them for the rest of their lives about how to save energy.
Virgil Kester sells and installs small wind turbines. He says they can help lower your utility bills, and he's seen a spike in the number of inquiries.
Just a couple of weeks ago, we couldn't hardly leave the phone. Just continual calls, and more than we'd ever had.
Still, he acknowledges they're not for everyone.
Well, it's not quite as accepted in the cities. The neighbors don't like them right up next to you. It's more of a rural appliance.
Critics of wind power systems complain they're noisy, unattractive, and threaten wildlife, including birds. There's also the concern, what happens when there's little or no wind?
We were here for several hours without really feeling any wind or seeing any wind.
Wind is an intermittent resource. So although on a given day, this facility may not be generating at its maximum capacity, it usually is generating something, and that's good news.
This is one of the ones that the Smithsonian wanted.
Glenn Patton is a director at the American Wind Power Center in Lubbock, Texas, a museum devoted to the history of wind power. He says wind is part of the solution to our energy troubles, not the solution.
Therefore, we do need some forms of fossil fuel and coal to make the difference when the wind farms are not making enough or the wind is not blowing.
But with one of the strongest wind corridors in the world right in the middle of our country, advocates like Boone Pickens say the pros definitely outweigh the cons of this emission-free energy source, and he wants to get the word out.
I think the Lord has equipped me to do a lot of things, and it's kind of up to me to get out with what He's given me and get the job done.
Mark Martin, CBN News, Texas.